The race for a championship begins tonight in the desert of Las Vegas. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round number 1 of the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. We are at the NASCAR Hall of Fame here in Charlotte. I'm Chris Wilner alongside Hannah Newhouse. Hannah, it's been a long 10-race season to get to this point. Are you ready to see who's going to be our first ever eNASCAR Heat Pro League champ?
Definitely, and we see that each of these rounds, only 2 teams get eliminated, so that it's anyone's game. But we saw things heat up at Daytona, that cutoff race. What a place to decide the championship playoff teams, but at Daytona. And we saw it all get shaken up in first, the PlayStation race. So let's take a look back at Daytona. Getting ready to go green here at Daytona for the final race for the PlayStation drivers in the regular season here in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League.
And we are going green. Green flag, green, green.
Green flag is in the air, and an immediate jump out to the front is SHG Hot Rod.
Competition caution is out.
SHG Hot Rod, who's paced the field since the drop of the green flag, will take the competition caution.
Back underway.
Ooh, look out. Some contact, and we've got a crash on the front straightaway. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars involved. And as you see on the face of Nick Jobs, heartbreak. And look who's back up in the mix a little bit as Nick Jobs got caught up in an early wreck, has the damage fixed.
That sends Jobs, I believe, down to the bottom. He holds on to
Nice
it.
save.
Yeah, nice save.
As we go back to the front, definitely expect Hot Rod to get defensive here as we go 4 laps to go at Daytona.
White flag is out.
Down the back straightaway. Oh, look out! Pennzoil tries to thread the needle and he starts an accident.
No flag. We are racing to the line, guys. This is it. To the line.
They're going to race back to the line with Hot Rod and Fluffy. Who's going to take it? They're side by side at the line, but it's going to be Hot Rod who takes the victory. One of the bubble drivers gets a top 5. You see elation on the driver of the number 8. Solid points outing.
Good job wrecking the field there. Good job.
Jacob, what's up to you, brother? I hate it. Just can't do nothing when you get hung out and everybody runs.
Good job dragging the brake, Smoke. You're going 105 miles an hour down the backstretch and can't go anywhere because you're dragging the brake.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Brake checking the whole field. And you wreck the field. You wreck the field.
Yeah, you block me again like that, Smoke fan. I'll see you in the playoffs.
That's all right.
That's fine with me. I'll make your life a living hell in the playoffs, Smoke fan. I can guarantee that.
And that's one way to start the first round of the playoffs. Lots of fighting words, some tension carrying over tonight's race.
Oh my goodness gracious, it's a little hot in here, man. Oh, that was nuts. Well, as you saw Sloppy Joe, he was pretty happy with that solid top 5 performance. Would have to see if his teammate would carry that over in Xbox. And then how about Slade, consistent again? And then the Bear, pretty heated after that race.
The Bear, one of those drivers that was involved in that altercation. They are not happy going into tonight's race. Also, Pennzoil, that Penske, a 13th place finish for them. Probably not what they wanted. They're sitting good, though, in those championship standings. But, wow, what a way to start the playoffs with everyone. Everyone just seemed to be mad at everyone.
Yeah, and that's certainly going to carry over here into tonight because we know it's all about those points, gaining those points. And at Daytona, they were so critical just to get in the playoffs. And as we can see now here with the Xbox race at Daytona, things got pretty heated as well.
Last race for the playoffs here. One last chance to lock in here. SHG Slick out to the lead just like his teammate. We have a change in the lead. JRM Dohar takes that lead from SHG Slick. Looks like he just got shuffled out of the draft there. Oh, we've got contact there with a couple of the drivers.
Caution is out.
It's all the bubble, bud. My bad. All the bubble.
We went in a bubble. I was like, wall.
I recorded it. It's fine. I'll show you my point of view.
As the green flag is back out with JRM Dohar leading for Junior Motorsports. How about this on the bottom side of the racetrack is the Bolt.
Right on along there with the Bull. We just saw a thumbs up there.
I'm waiting to see when these guys come down pit road where they're going to shake out. The guy that's leading here, he pitted 1 lap prior. Everybody's coming down.
Well, you thought the 18 was going to stay out. He dips back in.
He missed pit road.
Oh, he did. Oh, that's a big.
That's it.
I'm so sorry. HC, if you're wondering what happened, my right front blew as I entered the pits, and I couldn't slow down. Yeah, that really sucks. I need another hug from my mom again. I know that.
Yeah, I think his night's over. It really is in Dohar's hands right now.
Slick still has not made that 3rd pit stop. on lap 26. Is the fuel strategy game going to play in Stewart-Haas Gaming's favor?
He can do it. He can coast now.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
This is an insane. Yep, and he's starting to coast now as the
He's
six
out.
goes around, but the 14 of SHG Slick will get the sweep at Daytona.
Obviously, a fuel run is longer than everybody expected.
Unbelievable.
And who would have thought that win would have came from a fuel mileage strategy? Really exciting end of that race there. SHG Slick with that Xbox win. SHG taking that total win, sweeping both races, something we had not seen up until that race.
Jacob Kerr, one of those bubble drivers, having a solid top 10 for his team to get him in the playoffs. Garbage trying to come from the back, finished to 7th, and then the Bolts you saw missed pit road. A brutal mistake for Gibbs Gaming, but they're still in it.
You see J Mac attack there, rounding out in that 14th position. We saw his teammate get that good finish, was excited about it in the PlayStation race, and didn't work out for those RCR drivers, unfortunately.
Yeah, a little bit of a calmer race for the PlayStation drivers there and the Xbox drivers, but Zane down in our digital media lounge, Zane the bearded one as we like to call him, I can't imagine that Discord was pretty silent here the last 2 weeks.
It was a roller coaster, not of love, but emotions and broken metal and dreams. A lot of guys over the week and after that race were pretty heated. The best thing you could probably hear is expletive deleted, so we can't say it on TV, but for about 2 hours in the haulers for the pro leagues was about 20 guys screaming, shouting, talking about what happened at Daytona and looking for retribution going forward. Some guys have targets on their back. Other guys are just trying to survive.
And survival may be what it takes, but a lot on the line this race tonight. Thanks, Zane. We'll come back to you down here in a little bit, but
No problem.
point standings going into tonight's race, pretty exciting here. If you look there, you've got Team Penske with that overall regular season championship, but how they do it, there's no more event wins when we go playoff racing. All of the teams that made the playoffs get 1,000 extra points to separate them from the other teams.
Absolutely. Now it's all about combining points. You still got to do well, both your teammates, but as you can see, those top teams separating themselves pretty nicely. The ones to keep your eye on here are 8th, 9th, and 10th with Go Fast Germain and JTG Doherty Throttlers, as right now JTG needs probably both of its drivers to get a top 3 finish to keep moving on, and then it's only 1 point in between Go Fast and Germain, so this will be definitely interesting here at Las Vegas.
And we'll have to see what it took to get these drivers to this playoff position. Let's take a look at the regular season recap.
The inaugural eNASCAR Heat Pro League regular season is in the books, with 2 teams picking up multiple event wins. Team Penske Esports took the first event of the season in Charlotte with a win by Shell V-Power and a strong 3rd place finish by Pennzoil. After briefly losing the points lead, Penske reclaimed the top spot with an event win at Michigan, helping them in the regular season as the points leader. Roush Fenway Gaming took the points lead for a couple of weeks thanks to event wins at California and Watkins Glen. Wild That's Garbage took the checkered flag on Xbox at both races. Roush Fenway enters the playoffs as the number 3 seed. Stewart-Haas Gaming went on a tear to close out the regular season 2nd in the standings, with Hot Rod securing 3 race wins and Slick scoring a pair. SHG became the first team to sweep an event, taking 2 checkered flags at the regular season finale in Daytona. Levine Family Gaming, Go Fast Gaming, and JTG Doherty Throttlers also picked up event wins, locking their team into the middle of the championship hunt. Consistency was the key to Junior Motorsports and Gibbs Gaming making the playoffs. Dohar's 5 podium finishes leads JRM, and Gibbs got a jolt from the Bolts' 3 top 5s. And while Wood Brothers Gaming didn't grab an event win, their overall number 1 pick on PlayStation, Slade, scored 2 wins and 6 top 5s to keep their team in contention for the championship. Germain Gaming earned the final playoff spot with 2 solid finishes at Daytona. Now they are focused on avoiding elimination in the first round. 10 teams enter the playoffs with a chance at the title. Each week, 2 teams are eliminated, setting up for an epic 4-team fight for the championship in the season finale.
And the run to the season finale starts tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, with 2 teams eliminated starting tonight right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Round 2 after tonight, though, we go to Kansas Speedway on September 25th. And the second to last race, an interesting venue.
Yeah, Homestead Miami Speedway is going to be definitely fun for those guys that have been solid on mile-and-a-half racetracks. And then we go to that October 23rd finale. Big race for a winner-take-all. And it's going to be hopefully a good one. We don't know where it is yet, though. That's the only problem.
Guys,
yeah,
it's at ISM, Phoenix. We're going to Phoenix, baby, in the desert for the championship.
You heard it. Breaking news. Incredibles of Hannah. That's one of your favorite racetracks.
It is. It's definitely one of my favorite racetracks. I've raced there. Hands down, one of the places that I would love to go back. And what a place for the winner-take-all finale.
And Team Penske Esports sitting atop your regular season as the champs, but it all gets reset here tonight in the first round of the playoffs. The driver of that Penske machine is Tedeschi Shelby Power, and he joins us now on the pre-race show. Brian, good to see you. And hey, you've got the target on your back now, but everything resets. What's the mentality for your team as the regular season champs going into round one here tonight?
I think the big thing is what Corey and I talked about is just staying consistent. Towards the end of the season, we gained a lot of points, and that's kind of our claim to fame. We really didn't win and have a lot of the outright speed, but just our consistent top 5 finishes brought us. So if we continue that, we'll get to the final round in the Final Four. And
if the pressure wasn't on enough, you've got a lot on your plate right now. We can actually see you've got your name tag, your school shirt on there. School is back in session for you. What's life been like? Because we know it's a little busy for you.
Yeah, for sure. Being a grad student, for those who know, I'm a Purdue University grad student studying engineering technology. So I got all my coursework and research with that. And then in addition, I'm actually the president of our Residence Hall Association, so the main student government body for all 15,000 students living on campus. So it's a busy life. I actually just came from an event we're having here on campus. So it's super fun. I enjoy it a lot, and it's just a great supplement activity. And then, like I said, doing this is another fun thing. It's kind of unique. People have a lot of questions when you ask, like, oh, what are you doing in your dorm room? Oh, I'm playing NASCAR, and I'm on stream right now, so watch me from afar.
And in addition to all that busy coursework, you've got to learn NASCAR Heat 4. What's it been like here this last couple weeks getting used to the game?
It's been really cool. The 704 has done a really great job on the game. It's setup-wise, it's been a little bit of a change. I had to do some minor tweaks to it, but nothing we couldn't figure out. I just really can't thank my teammate Corey enough, and also Justin Brooks, JTG, driver on Xbox. He's been a huge help. He's been one of my good buddies for a long time, and we've worked a lot together, and we think we found something out for tonight.
Awesome. Well, you start night tonight. Good luck, and we'll see that 22 head to the front.
Yep, thank you very much.
And I commend him. I mean, I went through college, and I could barely handle the college schedule itself, let alone throw in an engineering program, and he's involved in student body and an eNASCAR Heat Pro League driver. I couldn't do it. I honestly don't think I could.
There has to be a lot of coffee or energy drink or something running him. But it's definitely going to be fun to watch our Charlotte winner try to get back to victory lane here in the playoffs. But another guy who's trying to get back to the front here is the Bolt for Gibbs Gaming. And we're going to take a look at the Dan Cave. You've heard us talk about it. Here's a little bit in-depth look at the Dan Cave.
I'm the Bolt 18, also known as Daniel Botafugo, 18 years old, and I drive for Gibbs Gaming. Well, I'm such a big fan of NASCAR. NASCAR is my favorite sport ever since I was 5 years old. Ever since I watched the Pixar Cars movie, that's pretty much how I got into NASCAR. I primarily do racing games. I've always wanted to become a race car driver. I'm here to give you a little tour of my room, my setup, also known as the Dan Cave. You'll see that I have a whole lot of cars. Big shelves here. It consists mostly of die-cast cars from the Pixar movie Cars. Rubik's Cubes, another hobby that I have. It's something that I do in my free time, keep my brain moving. I just think it's really fun as well. Oh, hey, Kyle, how's it going? All right, so this is Kyle Busch. As you can see right here, we have a little shelf, got some more stuff here. Evie, representing the high school I went to, East Brunswick High School. Man, that was such a fun time for me. This is my rig setup that I use for racing. Here's my Fanatec version 3 Cub Sport pedals. Here's my Thrustmaster TSXW racing wheel. Now on the right here we have a Thrustmaster T3PA stick shift. I'm gonna mention too is I have a racing seat that I use. The process has been a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's been something that I'm forever grateful for. And I'm just so thankful to be here right now.
A pretty neat setup for the Bolt, and we'll certainly look for that team to get to the front. But we've got a special guest joining us here tonight. How about this? Ross Chastain, NASCAR Gander Outdoor Truck Series driver, joining us now. First of all, what have you thought of all this in your short time here of seeing these Pro League guys?
It's awesome. I can't wait to see them get back on track. The first round of the playoffs tonight,
I know what that pressure's like, and these guys are sweating bullets right now getting ready for this race.
Now let's talk about that. You said trucks are now going playoff racing. We're getting ready to head to Vegas with the NASCAR Gander Outdoor Truck Series. They're racing tonight for the first round. What is that pressure like for a driver when so much is on the line? Your whole regular season comes up to one of these races.
Yeah, it does. We started our Truck Series playoffs at Bristol, of all places. And we started up front, and just to take everybody through our race, we started up front, had a pit road penalty on our only pit stop of the night, had to restart in the back with about 80, 90 laps to go, and drove back up to third, got to second, coming to the white, and slid up and fell back to third. But I had to use my front bumper a lot, and I didn't make a lot of friends, and I know that. Like, I bring my friends with me. They wear Nice Motorsports jerseys and fire suits, and these guys, if something happens and they have to come back through the field, if they have that raw speed like we had that night, they're going to have to get aggressive, and that's what racing's all about.
Now, you're pretty familiar with Las Vegas Motor Speedway, getting your first win there. So why don't you take the fans watching at home through a lap here at Las Vegas, because it can get pretty tricky. Let's take a look.
Rated E for everyone.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing when you take the green flag here, going down in turn one, a big arc will be key for me. And the bumps right here in the center, right there, you see the car wiggle, is really hard to get your race car to handle across there. Exiting turn two down the Nellis straightaway, a lot of time to think about turn three. You're looking at the mountains, you see that stuff. Big arc in here as well. A little bit smoother, but trying to get back to throttle at right past the apex there and use all that track on exit is all about lap time.
It'll be fun to watch tonight's race here on eNASCAR Heat Pro League, the first time we're racing with Heat 4. Now, there's something missing there, though, in the game. There's no watermelon remnants on the front stretch.
Yeah, I'm afraid as we come back a year later that these watermelons that I busted there last fall might finally be growing. Watermelons don't grow great in the desert in that hot of a climate, but they water that front stretch grass enough. It might just take root.
That would probably not be something you would want to hit through the infield. But we're getting ready to go racing with the Xbox guys. You want to stick around and maybe call this race with us?
Let's do it.
Perfect. Take a look here at the race rundown. 50 laps total in length. We've got that pit window from 12 to 14 laps, allowing these drivers multiple times to come down pit road, and something a little bit different. The first time we're seeing 2 competition cautions on lap 13 and 27.
Yeah, more on that in a bit. But first off, we've talked about NASCAR Heat 4 and all the changes and all the improvements for this game. A lot of the drivers been texting us here this week saying it's going to be really 3 and 4 wide racing at some of these points. So it's going to be incredible to see these guys get their cars moving around the racetrack a lot more here starting in the playoffs tonight.
And take a look at the starting order here for the Xbox race. Mr. Trackbar rebounding after Daytona's rough finish for him, sitting on the pole. Wow, that's garbage on that outside front row. We don't usually see him qualify that well.
No, we don't. We usually see him coming from the back in that Oscar Mayer machine. We'll have to see what he can do starting on the front row. Looking a little bit farther back, there's your Go Fast and Germain Gaming drivers there near our bubble team starting 7th and 8th. And then we talked to Shell V. There he is starting way back at 9th.
J Mac Attack rounds out the field for RCR, and Casey with those Wood Brothers Gaming in that 12th spot, a team to pay attention to as we get ready to go racing in Las Vegas. But before we do that, we'd mentioned those competition cautions. The first time we're running 2, let's check in with Zane down there, who's got a little bit more insight on why we're going to see 2 competition cautions.
Well, the reason we're going to see 2 competition yellows or cautions this night is this is a brand new game. We actually put some day 1 patches in that were released, so these drivers are actually going to get used to some of those changes. To make sure it's fair and balanced, just like real NASCAR, you're not going to throw the guys out on a green track. We're going to run 2 competition yellows tonight. We'll throw one at lap 13, and then we'll throw a second one at lap 28, so these drivers can get used to the changes without worrying about what's going to happen in the long run. That last 28 laps is going to be all green flag racing unless we see a wreck.
And hopefully, I don't think we will see that wreck. A lot of teams, though, we heard from some of the drivers, and we've talked to them going into tonight's race, and they said everything is on the line, especially for those bubble drivers. But we've got teams that, while they may not be in that championship chase, they're still really looking for that win. We see Diego here with Petty Esports. He's had a couple strong runs, still looking for that win. Not in the playoffs, but some speed and some momentum could really shake things up in this first round.
Yeah, we talked to Sloppy Joe there before in the pre-race, and he said, I don't care I'm not in the playoffs. I still want to win races. That's what I'm being paid to do. And so these guys that
Yeah, I love Diego's. He always knows when the camera's on. But, these guys know
eyebrow.
what to do when they're on the racetrack. And with this new game, it's going to be... Oh, look at this. How about this from the Bolt? Wow. That's
I
impressive.
drop stuff left and right in my kitchen, and he's over here doing a Rubik's Cube.
Oh, and we lost this guy. But, Ross, when we talk about Las Vegas, the air movement around here, because you're going so fast, just how pivotal is it when these guys get 2-3 wide in a pack like this to not make a mistake?
Yeah, it is. It's tough. I'll go back to the Rubik's Cube there. That was that was impressive. So something that a lot of professional sports athletes do is they get their mind right and their hand-eye coordination. And I'm actually going through the process now of learning how to juggle. I am not coordinated at all. Like Hannah said, I drop stuff. And to see these guys doing the Rubik's Cube, that's just a way to start firing up that muscle memory, get everything working so they're on it when we take the green flag.
And aside from that, something I want to touch on too in racing, you mentioned that hand-eye coordination, but it's something so different on a physical element. We're seeing these personal trainers coming in, and you're not doing, heavy weightlifting, anything like that. There's a lot of different training that goes into being a driver anymore with the hand-eye coordination and strengthening muscles that you don't do by doing deadlifts.
Yeah, well, you can tell that I'm not one that's lifting the heavy weights. Okay, we'll leave that to Matty D, old beach body there. But, for a guy like me, yeah, it's just about being the best I can be in a race car. That's hand-eye coordination. That's heat training. That's just trying to be able to sit in a race car for upwards of 3 hours sometimes in these cup races. I'm in a professional sporting career where I sit down. It's crazy, but it's incredibly hard to do and challenging, and you have to be ready for it.
And with those heats, too, you talk about that temperature. I know I already looked at the temperatures for this up-and-coming weekend at Las Vegas. It is going to be hot, but I will be the first one to say, having lived out there on that West Coast, I went racing last weekend. It was like 98 degrees when we took the green flag. And I would have never known, because now that I live out here on the East Coast with that humidity, I'm convinced I will never get used to the humidity out here. So I am ready for 100 degrees and no humidity.
Well, it's going to be a great time out there. Hey, I know a lot of fans at home are saying, well, I played the game and I'd love to give a shot, behind the wheel of a race car. Well, you can. Here's how you do it. Go to twitch.tv/704 NASCAR Heat. Use that command !raffle, and one lucky winner, will get a trip to the NASCAR racing experience. One opportunity at a racetrack. I think there's 16 on their schedule. You can climb behind the wheel of a real stock car at a racetrack. So if you want to take your talents from the screen to the racetrack, well, here's your chance to do it. So you've got pretty much all night to do it. We'll announce the winner here before the end of our Xbox race later tonight, or PlayStation race later tonight. So that's how you do it. Command or ! Raffle. Use that on Twitch, and you'll enter yourself for a chance at a NASCAR racing experience. Pretty sweet opportunity for somebody home watching.
And you have to be on the stream in order to win. So if they do call you out, you have to be ready to respond, give them your information. Otherwise, Chris may end up behind the wheel of a race car.
I've been waiting for somebody to not claim their opportunity so I can get on track. I've been itching to burn some rubber out there.
Taking a look on board here, we've got Skirt Busch, who was that #1 draft pick there in Xbox for Ganassi. Unfortunately, not the best season that they've been hoping for that team out in California. It's still light out there.
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. I think the whole Chip Ganassi gaming team has been a little disappointed. Missing the playoffs, finishing pretty much last, in every statistical category, not enough top fives to get them in. So interesting to see how they'll maybe set up their team for the rest of the season. And there's your reminder, folks. NASCAR Heat 4 releases on Friday. You can still pre-order and get your copy there. Jeff Gordon gracing the gold cover. Pretty sweet opportunity. We've already seen it all over social media. Guys that have had it and are playing it, and they are absolutely thrilled with it.
There's a $50 ticket coupon as well that can go towards your purchase of the Truck Series Gander. There's so many cool things on it. We've seen just clips throughout this season, including Martinsville under the lights. Looking forward to going there in 2020 with the series. Lots of different opportunities to run every series at different tracks, except for Eldora. We'll leave that one to the trucks, though. But so many opportunities to run on all of these different tracks, and it's just incredible. It's so realistic, everything from the light glares and all of the racing that goes on. But let's head on back down to Zane. There we go. We got the Corey LaJoie car up there with the face. That's
Fear the beard.
Down. Yeah, Fear the Beard. Speaking of the beard,
yes,
let's go back down to
my
Zane.
favorite car is Fear the Beard. The Corey LaJoie car. We also have 4 Stewart-Haas fan club cars in for each Stewart-Haas driver. Kevin Harvick, Suarez, Amarola, and Clint Boyer. Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend, Clint Boyer, the best man who needs to have a job in NASCAR soon if he retires, because beautiful. But yes, those cars are actually make goods to our fans. So those are available once you actually pre-order the game with their gold edition. Jump in and hopefully be playing those today.
Sign me up. Well, we got cars on track, so it's time to go racing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Round 1 of our playoff run to the championship as we ride on board the front row as we get set to go with Track Bar, who's been awfully good on not only mile and a half, but pretty much anywhere, leading the most laps, almost doubling the next driver. So we ride on board there with the Bolt. We saw him in his Dan cave. He's got the gloves on, the wheel, and everybody's getting ready to go. So a little bit delay getting to the start here, but they're under their pace lap and just about to drop the hammer here on 50 laps in the desert.
Getting ready to go green, and we notice the dance moves have stopped and the pressure is on as we are green at Las Vegas for the Xbox race during the first round of the playoffs. We saw a lot of these drivers that said they are not going to waste any time. They're going to put themselves in the best position they can early on in the race, knowing that tensions are high between a lot of these drivers and a lot on the line for some of them that are looking to get into those playoff positions. But Track Bar, we've seen him quick all season long. Unfortunate that team is not in a playoff position. I mean, they're close, but they're not gonna. They got their work cut out for them tonight. But wow, that's garbage. Really putting the pressure on early on.
Single file down the front straightaway to complete lap number 1. Ross, is a driver, when you start races like this, where does the aggression versus patience lie early on?
No, it's all aggression for me. You see the 37 there trying to get a run to the outside of the leader. Just trying to find that clean air, trying to find where you can put your car in the best position to get a run with this current Cup package.
Reminder, we are on NASCAR Heat 4, so you are looking at the drivers negotiating this tricky mile-and-a-half racetrack that's awfully fast right now. We spoke to drivers like the Bolt and Nick Job saying you can run 2-3 wide here if you've got to run and actually hold your line. So definitely, as we see peeking on the inside, it looks like Mordog as we ride on board with the Bolt, who continues to ride in the 4th position.
And you'd mentioned that as well. With this track really widening out, we're expected to see a lot of 2 and 3 wide racing. Maybe these drivers staying in single file to stay within that draft. Hopefully patience is of a virtue tonight with these drivers, but garbage also wasting no time. Giving a couple bumper taps there to Mr. Track Bar. And we saw teams work together in the preseason and the regular season before we went playoff racing, including garbage. He saw some assistance with SHG in the final laps of the race at Daytona, but he is ready to capture that win for himself. Another team in a playoff contention spot going for that championship. But we've seen the late race momentum from SHG as a team right there lurking behind garbage, waiting for that slip up.
Riding on board with your leader, once again, if you're worried about or wondering about the playoff positions, Mr. Track Bar and JTD Jordy Throttlers, again, right on the bubble line. He's got to have a good finish here today, and it starts right now by leading the race.
And when you're leading a race like this early on, you've got basically a hornet's nest behind you. And when you're in a position where you either have to win or get this good finish, especially when you're Track Bar and the position his team is in, what's going through the mind of a driver still early on in the race, but everyone behind you essentially needs to get in front of you to lock themselves in.
Yeah, I'd say he's smiling right now. The 6 car is really working with him well. The draft is key right now, and that Wienermobile is committed to his back bumper. And that's got to make Track Bar happy. I mean, he's got teammates. He's obviously been nice to these guys throughout the regular season.
And you just made Chris very happy.
So proud of you. Once again, Ross Chastain joining us here amidst his own playoff run as he takes in eNASCAR Heat Pro League from Las Vegas as he ride on board, as he mentioned, the Wienermobile with garbage. Certainly not garbage right now. He's got a fast race car, really biding his time before he really makes a move as he takes another peek to the inside. It looks like he may try to make it stick going into turn 3.
You take every opportunity you can to work that in, and I appreciate it. But battle for the lead now as he clears him. Looks like Track Bar slipped up there a little bit. SHG tried to take advantage of it, couldn't quite, as now the Bolt
We've got an accident.
That's garbage, goes around. Looks like he collects Mordog with him as well. You see there garbage in the infield, and caution is out for the first time tonight. Ooh, and some additional contact there.
Garbage looked like he got loose, almost bounced off the wall, tried to correct it, and just drove right in the side of the Bolt, sparking a chain reaction.
You know what I was just saying about the 6 car working with the leader?
Right.
I was just like racers are. He saw an opportunity and he took it. Didn't work out that time.
Take a look at the replay here. What exactly happened? As you can see, riding on board with Garbage in that second spot. Got high, a little bit loose, tried to correct it, and then right in the side of the 18. And then everybody's just swing and a miss right there on the front straightaway. One of the fastest parts of the racetrack there, going down the front stretch. Looking back behind the Bolt, great save, but yeah, spins right down the track, and I think collect more dog there, so.
That caution there will be collected into that competition caution, the first of 2 like we had talked about. Little bit of a bobble there from Track Bar on that initial start. The Bolt with a great run, but fortunately Track Bar with some assistance behind him as he's getting the push from both SHG Slick and Shelby. Shelby started a little bit farther back, has worked his way up into those top 4.
Muscling his way. How about Slick? Trying to make it work through the middle as they get back up to speed. Those of you maybe not paying attention, or we didn't mention it yet, but everyone did make a pit stop there under that caution. So all drivers already with 1 pit stop through that competition caution. And right now, Track Bar is trying to pull away just a little bit, but that got dicey with Slick and the Bolt there trying to have a little battle there for the lead.
And something that's a little bit different here on eNASCAR Heat, these drivers are able to take advantage of the entire racing surface. You see them duck down below the white line as we ride on with Shelby. We talked to him in the pre-race, and he said he's got to go out and get that win tonight. He feels confident that they have a good race car. But Ross, when you get down onto that white line, more often than not, you're actually losing a lot of momentum in the car, and you're losing it's not as banked as much, so it's de-wedging these race cars, really throwing them off overall balance. How tricky is that to know that you can't use that entire racing surface, something that differentiates us a little bit from, you know, NASCAR?
No, it does. You saw him there get to the back bumper of the 14 through 3 and 4 and just get his nose peeked out, and it looked like the clean air paid off. He was able to maintain, like you said, even though he was bound up, he was running the shorter distance around the track, which the race cars don't want to do. They don't want to turn any more than they already are, and he was able to make it work and get clear into second. And now he has momentum with the 14 on his back bumper running down the leader.
Nice move for Shelby, getting his way to second. We ride on board the hood of Mordog for Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club. Out of the postseason, but certainly not out of this race. He's got speed in that number 5 machine. The young man out of DuPont, Illinois, as right now we take a look back at your battle for the lead. Really closing in is that 22.
Shelby with a great run getting up there, but so far no one has really had too much for Track Bar, and this is usually how we see his races play out. He gets up there, he's got a dominant race car, and if he can stay out of everyone else's mess, he usually finds himself a great finishing position. But when it's not his night, it's really not his night, and he ends up not finishing in an ideal position, but he seems to have everyone on his back bumper. We've seen SHG Slick close that, and look at that, Go Fast Matt in the top 4, and wow, that's Garbage after that incident has cracked the top 5 as well.
Yeah, he's just running it high, wide, and handsome in that Oscar Mayer Wiener machine, as right now your leader, Track Bar, 153 laps led this season. I think the next closest is about 50 or 60, so just to show you there, as Track Bar loves the lead. Right now we're all eyes back behind him though. 3 cars trying to work together there with Shelby, Slick, Go Fast Matt. Remember, Go Fast Matt and Go Fast Racing with a new teammate starting last week at Daytona. So trying to get as many points as they can here in round number 1 to keep their seasons alive.
And take a look at that top 3. We've got Track Bar still leading with Shelby and also SHG Slick. Between Garbage, Slick, and Track Bar, they each have 2 wins, and then you add in Shelby and Go Fast Matt with also wins. You've pretty much got the dominant team so far in the Xbox season right there within the top 5, 6, and they've really been able to separate themselves this season. We've seen some dominance there, and we had contact there with, looks like the Bolt gave Garbage there a little bit of a tap, hey, I'm here. But Ross, to bring you back into this, you guys have really found that late season momentum, able to capture multiple wins. When you get on a momentum roll like that, what's the confidence, even when all things are high tension, to be able to carry that win momentum into a stressful situation?
Yeah, but you're only good as your last race, and you're only good as your last corner. We saw the Shelby, the 22 car there, make a mistake. Was very fortunate, I think, to get back down in line in 3rd. The only car that I've seen be able to make any kind of passes outside of the bottom when someone slips up is that 6 car, that Oscar Mayer Wiener mobile. Yeah, you see him get loose there off the corner. Man, I don't know how he was able to get back down in line, but he made it work. Maybe the 32 car cut him a break there. That's awful nice of him.
That 6 car, while that's garbage, almost looked almost carbon copy, got loose, hit the wall, but he was able to save it this time, was Shelby. And here we go, battle for second. Now here comes that 6, the bright orange machine for Roush Fenway Gaming. Now going to take the outside the long way around.
2-car pitting.
But we've got a pit stop underway with the 22. Shelby will relinquish that top 3 position, as right now your battle for second side by side to turn number 1. And we'll give it to garbage. So how about that?
6 car all the way back up to second after that incident right there before that competition caution. So like we said, we saw him making some passes at the back of some of those shots when they were all racing up there in the top 2 or 3. He was making his way up through the field. He got cleared now into second, and you know, as this competition caution comes up here in a few laps, we'll see if he can have anything for our leader.
A great run for him so far, but with track bar really putting some position or some distance between him and that second position. Again, dominant so far by that, but with 30 to go and pit cycles getting ready to happen, it could potentially shake things up. You see him duck down below that white line there. Sometimes that signals that they will be pitting on the next lap, so would be interesting to see. But let's go down to Zane. We talked about pitting early. The 22 we saw come down pit road, and a handful of other drivers as well. Zane, let's check what's going on down there.
They're all coming down pit road. The competition yellow comes out at lap 28. We had to throw the competition 2 laps earlier than about 4 laps earlier than their normal stop. So right now they're starting to cycle so they can make it that extra distance. What we're going to see here is a lot of the deltas come into play. On fresh tires, they're going to be faster than these guys sitting out on the track right now. So Track Bar, Bolt, Mordog, and Diego need to watch out, because Shelby, Power, and the rest of the crew are going to start running them down.
Thank you very much, Zane. As we see your leader, the 37 of Track Bar, now hit pit road, get it way down to pit road speed, as the rest of those that did not pit yet, including Bolt and Mordog, back down pit road. So they are heeding Zane's advice and getting fresh rubber.
That's something really interesting to follow, not only here in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League, but also in races. You just see a lot of different pit strategies that play out, and it really comes down to communication between the driver and the crew chief, and a lot of them are last-minute calls. We've seen some recently in the Truck Series, Ross, that have really differentiated who finishes up top. I mean, when it comes down to that communication, what's the decision like between you and your crew chief? You're obviously behind the wheel, and you've got someone on the box making those calls, but the communication that sets those two apart, you guys watching each other's moves?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for me, it's all the crew chief and our engineers to tell me when to pit, and I don't need to know until 2 or 3 laps before. So that I leave that all up to them. Obviously, we won a race this year at Gateway at St. Louis, or Worldwide Technology Raceway.
That one,
whatever it's called. We won a race there on a fuel only stop and got us clear. We were running second. We were able to get to the lead and control the final 2, or the final restart, I guess, and take control of the race. And that's what it's all about, is just controlling and executing. So yeah, as we see these guys cycling through, problem there for Skirt Bush, looks like, as he's getting back up to speed.
Diego, your leader, still has not made his second pit stop yet. That was the voice of Ross Chastain for just tuning in. Joining us up here for a little esports action, because this is about to get good as everybody begins to cycle through. 26 laps to go, trying to wait on that caution. We got a battle here. Shelby trying to get back inside the top 5 with Mordog, as now your leader Diego hits pit road. So now everybody will have made 2 stops as we get ever closer to that competition caution, and once they cycle back through, it looks like Mr. Track Bar will be it.
You check out here as we look, the 32 was coming down pit road. He needed to have a good race for Go Fast Gaming to be able to put them into the next round, and unfortunate luck there for him getting into pit road. There's a lot of racetracks on the circuit that pit road is one of the most difficult aspects of it. How hard is it to woe these cars down at high speeds and really execute, especially under green flag pit stops?
It's incredibly tough. It's so hard to practice it, because you put your race car in such a vulnerable position to come and do a real hot pit road take at it in practice. Everybody, or at least I know myself and what I see from other people, our splits and our times coming to pit road in practice, we blow those out of the water in the race, because if we make it, because we usually either underdrive it in practice or we never make it because we were going 30 miles an hour too fast anyway. So it's one of those things that executing that in the race is what separates the good drivers from the great drivers. And I'm not great at it yet. I'm still perfecting the craft and just getting enough laps on all these different tracks where it's just muscle memory. You know where to go based on how your car's handling, how old your tires are, and what you're looking at.
Riding on board here with your third-place driver of Garbage, who's caught the back of Shelby, approaching the competition caution here. So everything cycles back out the way we thought it would, with Track Bar once again a 2-second lead over second place as they cross the start-finish line here. That's your best battle on the racetrack right now, with the Bolt sneaking in as caution is waved. So here's our second competition caution of tonight's playoff opener from Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
With this competition caution, it ought to be interesting because we saw the entire field pit prior to this, so it will rack them and stack them and get ready to go. Then take a look here. JRM Dohar, one of our consistent drivers for the season, average finish of 4th. That's the consistency that locked JRM into a playoff position here. Overall best in Xbox there, but
he's also one of the most animated people that we've seen riding on board, but right now he looks a little bit concerned.
We have stretch. There it is. Yeah. He was stretching under those caution laps. You got to get everything. You got to take that deep breath under caution, and I mean, I'm sure you guys have helmet fans and that kind of stuff under caution, which is nice, but you got to almost reset your brain every once in a while under these cautions.
You do, and we have a little more time under our cautions than these guys do. We're going back racing.
Yeah, that's a quick turnaround. Everybody making a pit stop under that caution. So 3 total for the field as we get back underway through the gears. And on the inside now, here comes Garbage for second. Mordog found his way up to second after pit stops. He'll get shuffled back to third, and then here comes that SHG Hot Rod by Slick back up to third, but Mordog's gonna get a run him out on the outside. Can we get the outside lane moving? That'll be something to watch here as we get to 20 to go, coming to 19 to go.
Mordog with a really strong run overall tonight. As I say that, contact with the wall will slip him back.
4 wide.
Position. Yeah, we got 4 wide. They'd said
Hold your breath.
We're gonna hear it. Oh. And everyone holds on to it somehow. The Bolt getting the bad end of that situation, slipping back with Mordog. That allows the top 4 now to separate Track Bar. That's Garbage, SHG Slick, and Go Fast Matt really separating themselves, but it is an absolute hornet's nest behind them. 3 wide here with Diego as well as Shelby and Mordog on that outside.
Yeah, if you're that 22, you're just trying to get out of this situation unscathed, because right now it's 3 by 3 down the front straightaway with the Bolt trying to push Shelby. Contact with Diego. Diego back on the apron. He'll get it woed down. Everybody makes it clean. As I say that, some contact there with the 95. That's HD Motorsports. Everybody's getting it back down. We've just got, and we've got one on the wall. So hard hit by, looks like the 88 of Dohar. So tough break as the caution comes out. It was bound to happen at some point there where you had a gaggle of cars bouncing off each other.
They crashed for a couple of laps right there. I applaud them for making it that far. That was some awesome racing.
Sometimes you are the ping pong paddle and sometimes you are the ball.
Yep.
And it looked like the Bolt there for a while was the ball bouncing between all of them, but JRM Dohar got the bad end of that there, went around, will go to the back and restart in that 13th position. But riding along there with Shelby, 5th place at the moment. Consistency for that Penske team as another strong top 5 there. Mordog, though, I want to take a look at him, though. He was up in the top 3 or 4 for most of the race.
Well, and in this situation, you got to know who you're racing. I mean, look who Shelby is back there with. I mean, Skirt Bush and guys that aren't in the playoff hunt, you know. And it's anyone's game. Everybody's going for a win, but you've just got to know who you're around, and you can't take those chances going through the middle like that. But, well, we're going to restack them and do it again. Quick reset here, 4 pit stops total. Now it looks like for everybody, according to timing and scoring. So maybe some more fresh rubber, some now fuel strategy, maybe some trying to stretch it here with 14 laps to go. Can they make it? But right now, all eyes on your front 3 as it looks like Track Bar is going to take a peek down the back straightaway and try to get his way back to the front where he's led the most laps so far tonight.
The Bolt, having only led 1 lap so far this evening, will hand that over, will not lead another lap, and hand it to Track Bar, who's been dominant. That's Garbage. He seems to be up in the top 2, then slips back to 5th or 6th, and then back up into the top 2, but pressure from Go Fast Matt, who's in a little bit of a different scheme than we usually see him in the preseason or the regular season, is trailed by Shelby, nose to tail, and the Bolt managed to slip back into that 5th spot.
Fanning out down the back straightaway. This is a big race for Track Bar too as well, with JTG Doherty
throttlers being that last team inside the playoffs, and so they need to have a good run. He needs to have a win. He's had 2 outside the top 10 finishes these last 2 weeks of the regular season, so this is a big confidence booster if he can get the checkered flag. But right now, still a long way to go, 12 laps to go, and we've got contact in the back of the field. Everybody continues rolling. Looks like that's the 3 of J-Mac Attack. He'll continue to get rolling, but way back in the field. Right now, side by side, though, Shell V-Power and Slick. That's for a top 5 position. Or Go Fast Max, excuse me. That's for 3rd, so give that to the Penske Esports driver.
I'll tell you what, this side-by-side battle for 3rd has really given these 2 leaders a chance to break away a few car links, and this gives the 6 a little room. He can, like you see there, he's moving up half a lane, peeking out, keeping the leader on his toes. As you see the 37 trying to break that draft, it's all mind games right now, coming to 10 to go. The 6 car has the speed, just like the 37, but when's he going to make his move? We saw the move earlier, coming to the competition caution, not work out, and with this little bit of gap, I think they can play around a little bit. If he gives up a car length or so here or there, it's not the end of the world. The draft should pull him right back up there.
Being able to focus out your windshield and instead of your rear view mirror is definitely a reassuring feeling as a driver. But we're going to take a look back here at that contact that we saw at the back of the field here a little bit ago. J-Mac Attack there, holding it up. Oh, and one goes through the grass there. Looks like that might be Mordog. Everyone bounces off each other. J-Mac Attack gets into Casey, I believe that was as well.
We had one in the wall. That was SHG Slick. During the replay, went from a top 5 back to 13th after hitting the wall. Tough break for arguably the favorite going into tonight's playoff opener. But right now, we stay clean and green. 9 laps to go at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Can Track Bar get back on track and get a win? Or Garbage is going to try to find his 3rd win of the season.
We saw in the pre-race show, we look back at Daytona, we saw a lot of tension, not only in the PlayStation race primarily, but also some in the Xbox race of a lot of guys, holding grudges essentially going into Las Vegas. And Ross, I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second without entirely putting you on the spot here. When you get in these situations where tensions are really high, there's a lot on the line, as a mentality of a driver, you're going to have altercations with other drivers on the racetrack. When you get in a situation like that, do those come to mind, or are you able to put that behind you and really just focus on your main goal?
Well, for better or worse, in my case, I have the attention span of, I don't know, the very shortest amount of time of any animal in the world. Like, a goldfish.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, yeah, I think when they swim around the bowl, it's a new bowl every time, right? So for me, that is absolutely the truth. It's both a blessing and it hurts me sometimes because I don't remember the good and the bad things guys do to me. But it's just about your next lap, your next corner. As these guys come down here to 6 to go, it's just, you want to put yourself in the best position. This is starting the playoffs. This is your march to Phoenix. Now that we know the season finale race, so this is the first step for everybody that's in these playoffs. You definitely don't want to make any enemies, but you have to win. Winning is rewarded so high in today's world of motorsport, NASCAR, and everything that you have to take it. If there's an opportunity for this 6 car to make it, I'll be really disappointed if he doesn't make that move and go for the win.
Ross Chastain, the goldfish of NASCAR. Every lap is a new lap.
There we go. Hey, but we got to take a look at our playoff bubble drivers. So Go Fast Matt riding in 4th, Jacob Kerr for Jermaine in 5th. They're still trying to get back to the front. Every position is a playoff point because the guy that needs the most is currently leading the race, trying to leapfrog and send one of those 2 teams home. So that's going to be the eye. All 3 of those cars in the top 5. But right now, battle for the lead, side by side with Garbage on the inside. Track Bar on the outside. Track Bar's been dominant all day long. They almost touch. Down the front straightaway to go, coming to 4 laps to go, and looks like Track Bar will still hold the advantage here going into turn number 1. And Ross Chastain, who's joining us, folks that are just tuning in, when you see drivers going down the front straightaway down below the white line, what advantage is there?
It's just shortening your distance. These Cup cars in today's world are a lot of on throttle time, and you're just trying to take that take that distance out and help your lap time. It doesn't feel good. Like cutting down on the apron isn't good for the race car. It doesn't feel good inside the car, but it's just what you have to do. You'll see it, coming up this weekend in the truck race. You'll see it in all three, but especially the truck race and the cup race, where the on-throttle time is higher. The Xfinity cars, even last year, I know we did it a lot, trying to break that draft. Restarts, you're all the way down by the grass. I almost got in the grass last year, making a big block on a late restart. So, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile made that move to the inside. It didn't work, but you see, coming to 2 to go, he's still right on his bumper. He's still right there ready to make a move.
Oh, he's so close. And right now, he's just kind of like a prize fighter, kind of bobbing and weaving his way on the inside and outside. Now going to try to stick it down on the inside. They almost touch. Track bar gives him enough room, and they're going to be side by side off of turn number 2, coming to the white flag. Track bar still has that momentum from the outside. The 6 trying to get back to victory lane.
If anyone can get this done, I have full faith in Garbage. We've seen some incredible runs from him, coming from the back, multiple occasions to multiple wins as well. He's had himself in a contending position all evening long during this race. He is potentially just setting himself up for the right opportunity. The last lap is the one that matters the most in this situation here, and he is putting himself in the best position possible as the white flag is out, but
no way.
Got a little bit of distance here.
Track bar, he has ran the perfect race. He has the momentum. He's been playing games with us this whole time as we work off turn 4.
Off of corner number 4, JTG Doherty will get the win with Track Bar in playoff race number 1. The best possible outcome for that team right now to get their 2019 playoffs underway. Track Bar dominant all day long with Garbage coming home second. Shelby, a good rally, coming home with a 3rd position. And Go Fast Matt, a bubble driver with Go Fast Racing, coming home 4th.
A perfect scenario for that driver, like you'd said. He needed a good run tonight to get a lot of points, to be able to put his teammate in a good position as well, to maybe have a slip up in the PlayStation race. Cool to see that win. Like you said, Ross, he ran the perfect race, and that is something that is so crucial in high-intensity races like this.
Yeah, it is. He, we saw the entire race, the 6 car, especially early on and late, was putting the pressure on, and he never slipped up. He kept that thing wound up, even if he had to move up a groove, and got the W.
Wow, well, the points battle there at our playoff bubble line. Remember, 2 teams are going home. Go Fast Matt, Jacob Kerr. Those 2 teams, the Go Fast Racing and Germain Racing, boy, they're right there. 4th and 5th, good points outings, but Track Bar, the man who led them all, with the win here tonight. And then JRM Dohar back for Junior Motorsports in 6th, and the Bolt coming home 7th.
HD Motorsports there in that 8th position. They started their season off to a pretty good run, have found some mid-pack finishes for them. They're going to have to really pick things up to maintain a championship contention spot as we move forward in the season there. Diego rounding out the 11th spot there, and J Mac Attack in that 14th position rounds out the field in the Xbox race.
1 playoff race in the books. Next up will be the PlayStation drivers, but boy, oh boy, was that an exciting race to watch, and certainly the first one we've got to broadcast on NASCAR Heat 4, so really cool to see the update to the game and see how these drivers tackled Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ross, your overall thoughts? What'd you think? Your first time?
Man, I was amped the whole time. I was afraid that I wouldn't know what to talk about, but these guys gave us everything we were looking for. They gave us drama. They short pitted a late caution, or throughout the race. Like, these guys were on it. I did not expect that, and that's awesome to see.
And you get behind the wheel here when you get back from Vegas, and
I'm gonna go to Vegas and get behind the wheel.
Well,
I'll leave this to the professionals.
Okay.
On the NASCAR Heat side of things, and if you guys ever want me back, I'm more than happy to come back.
We'd love to have you back. This was a good time. Whew, Hannah, lost my breath.
I know when we talked in the pre-race, you'd had a good time, calling them by their gamer tags. That's Garbage. You got a gamer tag though that we maybe? I know it's is it Watermelon?
It's got to be something watermelon, right?
Yeah.
So maybe somebody listening can send us. Everybody can send in their.
There you
thoughts.
go. Tweet Ross Chastain his gamer tag when he comes back and joins us in a future race.
There we go.
So we can lead into that. But exciting race there for the Xbox drivers.
Certainly was. Thanks, Ross Chastain, for joining us. Best of luck going to Las Vegas and chasing a championship. But right now, it was all about JTG Doherty Throttlers getting the win with Track Bar at Las Vegas.
I'm Rowdy from JTG Throttlers. I'm a parts salesman for semi-truck parts, and for fun, I just hang out with the kids and we go racing on the weekends. I race stock cars in the summer, and I got a PS4, and I said I was going to start racing online on the PS4, and it just kind of drew to the Pro League, and now I'm here. It's been really fun, actually. I just kind of got to learn some new stuff that I haven't learned before. Everyday learning curve. For me, I'm just out there, run my race, and whatever happens, happens.
The last lap, if you have a chance to win, what would you do?
They're going around. They are definitely going around. I came here to win, not finish second.
Mr. Track Bar 33 with the JTD Daughters throttlers. I design t-shirts, do race car wraps, all that other stuff, and usually at a local short track every Saturday night.
What was it that drew you to NASCAR Heat?
It was just different. It's console racing. Like, I wanted to stray away from iRacing, which I was particularly familiar with, and I don't know, the competition seemed like it was pretty good on it, and I was like, it's a new challenge. I'm always for new challenges, and that's what I went after. If I gotta hurt someone's feelings, if I gotta put them in the wall, hey, look, I want to be remembered as the first Pro League winner, so that's what I'm going after.
Track Bar, that winner in the Xbox race. A perfect scenario for you and your team. We're joined by the winner now on the line. Track Bar, you had a dominant race there. Did you know going into the race that you guys had set yourself up in such a good position to collect that win?
Yeah, definitely. The 37 Scott Comfort Plus Chevrolet was pretty fast off the bat. When we started testing here at Vegas, I found something before anybody else did, and I just had an advantage on them and literally made no changes up until race day, did nothing, and it showed there in the race. I mean, I had a fast car. I was a little bit loose there at the end because I decided to pinch my car down, come off the corner, heat the right rear up, and I tried to like cool the right rear down, and when I did, garbage was giving me pressure and pressure and pressure. It gave me a small little bump in the 3, got me even looser, so I was trying my best to cool my right rear down but keep him behind me, and there at the end, I was able to hold him off when he got underneath me.
Well, the pressure's certainly off you now. Now it's on your teammate, but this has to be a good confidence booster for you and that team, knowing that you need to get every possible point you can to continue on in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, we've had a few rough weeks for the 37 car. I mean, the last 2 weeks, like, we led almost every lap in Michigan, got hit going on the pit road and got a speeding penalty, and it got taken out of Daytona. Didn't have a caution, so that put us back a little bit in the points. And I like I told him, I said, I'm going to go out here and try my best, give it my best shot, try to do what I can, and then hopefully Rowdy can take up the rest.
All right, well, thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing your teammate try to get the job done for your team. And congrats on the win. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, guys.
One of those teams not in the championship hunt anymore, Richard Childress Racing Esports, but they've got some late season momentum, and their driver Sloppy Joe joins us now here on the pre-race. Sloppy, you had a great finish at Daytona. You're sitting on the pole for tonight's race. Any nerves with such a good starting position?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of nerves and whatnot. I've been kind of the driver that's been starting in the back this year, not putting too much focus on qualifying, but the way NASCAR Heat 4 is and the way this game runs, qualifying to me is a really important part. And we went full force. We did everything we could to get a good lap in there. And this thing's a rocket. It's great. And there's a little bit of nerves to it. You know, starting out front, you want to go ahead and lead that first lap, put a good pace going for the rest of the field and show that you mean business and whatnot. But really, when I think about it, I'm all in for the winning. You know, I want to be the guy that goes in there and spoils the playoffs and show everybody that I deserve to be in there fighting for a championship. So we're just going to go out full swing and go for some wins.
Yeah, playoffs or not, you mentioned it. You can still go out and kind of shake things up in this playoff championship race. How do you approach this, though, as a driver outside the championship hunt? Do you race guys that are involved when it comes down to the nitty-gritty any differently, knowing that they're still in the hunt?
Yeah, when you bring that up, that's definitely something that you got to think about kind of in the moment. You can't think about that 5 laps prior. You know, it could be the last lap, and you know, I could have Fluffy right in front of me and going for the win, but I have a better car than him, and that win could help them, you know, clinch to the next round. But I want to go win that race and whatnot. And you know, when it comes down to the entire field, I think we have a lot of respect for each other when it comes to racing with one another. And we all know that even though some of us are in the playoffs, you know, we're here to win. That's what we signed that contract for, is to go out there and win, not, you know, run in the back of the pack and let the other guys do their thing. But they all know it's just hardcore racing and whatnot. And I'm going to race guys the way they race me. That's been like that all season. But thankfully, no one's raced me super hard or anything. So it shouldn't be a problem tonight.
Be awesome to watch to see if you can get that upset win and really shake off the playoffs in the first race. Leading the field to green. Hey, thanks for joining us, Dan. Best of luck.
Yeah, no problem at all. And got to give a shout out to my wheel man out there who's going to be watching inside Ross Chastain. Got my watermelon right here. Very good. You guys have a good time watching tonight.
Always gotta love a good melon plug. I love it. And that actually just made me hungry for some watermelon. So
it's a little late for dinner.
Never too late for some watermelon, Hannah. You should know this. Come on. But for Sloppy, he made a good point. When he's not racing for a championship, he still has a job to do, and he's going to win races. And it's going to be interesting to see how he holds on starting from the pole, because right now, clean air is everything at Las Vegas. So certainly he'll be a driver to watch here tonight.
And one of those things as well, you've got those teams that are on the bubble, and when you're in a bubble position like this, you only get one race. There's no 3 races to really gain that momentum and lock yourself in. It's tonight and tonight only, and there's a couple teams that are wavering.
Yeah, one of those was JTG Doherty Throttlers. They got a win in Xbox, so we'll have to see what happens here in the PlayStation race here coming right up.
A lot on the line for a handful of teams, including Germain Gaming. 2 teams will go home tonight and be eliminated, and we're joined by one of the drivers of Germain Gaming, Kyle Arnold. Kyle, first off, a lot of pressure tonight. We thought the pressure was on at Daytona to make the playoffs. You made the playoffs, but you could be eliminated tonight. What's that pressure like for you as a driver?
Honestly, I don't really feel any pressure going into it. It's just something I'm good and I guess trained to deal with. The big thing is just execution. Go out, run my race, run it to the best I can. I know a lot of the past races, my finishes has been dictated by other folks' actions. So hopefully steer clear of the mess and, just execution.
And when you factor in playing in NASCAR Heat 4 now for the postseason, how has that changed maybe your driving style and your preparations now that we're, in a new game?
I wouldn't say it's changed driving styles or the prep. I think more of the preparation has went into your tire wear and things like that. Completely different game. Way different, and in my opinion, for the better. You'll see cars falling off now and things like that, and a whole different aspect to the game that we've not seen before. So multi-groove racing, in which I hope everybody's excited about seeing it as I am to race in it, but you're going to see 2 wide, 3 wide, and everybody's stable enough to hold their own lane. So it's going to be a good time.
Well, we're definitely excited here for that implementation of NASCAR Heat 4, but best of luck to you in tonight's race.
Thank you very much. And if you don't mind, right before I go, I would like to dedicate this race to a friend that passed away. He was a soldier in the U.S. Army, and it's Ryan King. He's from Franklin County here in Georgia, and that's something that we can, I don't say celebrate today, but definitely, pay tribute to him.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you doing that, and we appreciate his service. And all of our thoughts and prayers are with everybody in our armed forces, as well as those on those fateful days. Kyle, thank you for joining us, my man. We'll see you on track.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Certainly, we never forget. Well, here's a look at our unofficial standings after tonight's opening race, with Team Penske Esports still retaining the top spot. Roush Fenway Gaming, as you can see there, moved up a spot over Stewart Haas Gaming for that second position. 1 playoff point separating your top 2, and then it's Stewart Haas as well back there in third.
And you look at that bubble, it's still those same 2 teams, Germain Gaming and JTG, right there on that bubble. JTG got that win in the first race with the Xbox. The pressure is on for the PlayStation driver for that team, because that win, again, a perfect race needs to be ran in that PlayStation race.
Oh, so close in points for that bubble spot, and it'll only get closer as we get ready for our PlayStation race. But before we start, we have another special guest, from the guy who makes his living behind the wheel to a guy who makes his living behind the mic, and also the executive director of the NASCAR Hall of Fame, Mr. Winston Kelly. Welcome.
I'm delighted to be here. I tell you, this is new for me. I haven't been a rookie behind a microphone in many, many years. I was looking back at the ages of the first race. None of them were born when I did my first race with MRN, and only 3 of them in the race today. So I'm excited for this new opportunity and to see it see racing from a different perspective.
And now you got to see Ross call that first race. Did you take anything away from his, because he was a rookie at this as well, take anything away from that you can apply to today's race?
Well, he's got the advantage that he can talk about what actually happens in the race car. I actually did Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the Richard Petty driving experience, but I think that was a little bit different than what Ross has done it in competition. But just watching how he analyzed the race and watching how the tire fall off is, which is what we watch so much on MRN radio on pit road. So I'd love to have him come back up here. I might need some tips from him.
Well, you ready to take those rookie stripes off and give it a shot here for our next race?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, before we get going, let's take a look at our race rundown once again for those of you just tuning in as we get ready for the PlayStation race. 50 laps the distance here in the desert at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That pit window, 12 to 14 laps. And again, 2 competition cautions due to the fact that, well, hey, it's a new game, and some of these drivers are going to work out some of the bugs as well. So we're giving them 2 competition cautions. But boy, it'll be interesting. Hannah, are you ready to go?
I am ready. Before we get going, Green, let's take a look at the lineup for your PlayStation race. Sloppy Joe, we talked to him earlier in the race, and he had a great qualifying run, getting his first pole of the season, coming off of a good run at Daytona as well. Some late season momentum for that team, and the Bear also with a rebound run on the front row.
Here's an interesting thing. Remember we talked about our bubble drivers? Well, as you can see, they don't start in the top 5. You got to look all the way back here to, looks like 10th position with Wood Brothers because they're toward the back. But boy, it's going to be interesting. We've got some sprinkled in, some heavy hitters, and toward the front, some guys not even chasing a championship. It'll be interesting to see who gets to the front here today as we look through the rest of the starting field.
Slade in that 10th position. Probably not the qualifying effort he wanted. He's been good. Also, the rookie, DK Brown, 86, taking over that position at Go Fast Gaming. Rolls off 11th, still getting his whereabouts in the Pro League here. I know he's made some friends and talked to a lot of the other drivers to get acclimated, so another shot for him, his second race and the first race of the playoffs. Man, what a position to be in.
No kidding. Well, here's a look at Pennzoil from the cockpit of that number 2 out of Waynesboro, Virginia. So Pennzoil will be another driver to watch. We talked to some drivers here before this week of racing as they get adjusted to the new NASCAR Heat 4, and they're like, this is just almost night and day experience for them, just as well the cars handled on the racetrack, how there's multi-groove racing and also contact. You can kind of rub somebody a little bit here as we saw in the first race. So we'll see if that plays into the hands of this one here today as we get set for the pace laps. And once again, we got Winston Kelly joining us in the booth, calling his first esports race. And you ready, my friend? Are you getting these names down? That's the big question.
Absolutely. It's so much. We call the race mostly by the look and feel of the car,
right,
and the colors, and they change so much nowadays. But we used to have to put $1 in anytime we called somebody the wrong driver if they changed sponsors or changed years. So getting used to the colors, the paint schemes, and the names is something that's going to be unique. But you can see the Caterpillar-looking car looks exactly like what we see from Daniel Hemrick. So that'll be something that we'll be able to relate to.
And no onboard cameras, but instead living room cameras.
Absolutely, yeah. That'll be new. That'll be new. We see the Wood Brothers car there, and Slade. Good to see one of the Hall of Fame teams out here on eNASCAR.
And green flag is in the air for the PlayStation race. The last race of the evening, a lot on the line for these teams and drivers. Sloppy Joe with a great jump there out to the front, able to clear the Bear, and Parker slides right in behind him and lets the Bear, hangs him out to dry as they are 3 wide almost on this first lap.
Yeah, they're getting after it pretty quick here as Parker tries to thread the needle through the middle. He's going to make contact with the Bear. Bear goes out wide to the wall. He'll drop back a few spots because that allows Fluffy to go from 4th to 2nd. Keep in mind, Sloppy Joe, Parker, they're not even in this playoff race, but they're trying to muscle their way up for a win here tonight.
Riding there, we saw that initial race, a lot of drivers stuck down, went single file, and really just rode out for the first 10-15 laps. Not these guys, side by side, and it looks like Fluffy really putting the pressure on Sloppy Joe. They've managed to break away a little bit from this pack here, but Pennzoil creeping up into the contention spots. Great run, great qualifying effort by Mike RPM as well. Petty Motorsports, also a team that really has found some late race momentum. Diego with a good run and good qualifying effort, as well as Mike RPM, who just cracked the top 5.
Now, Winston is a guy who's been on pit road a number of years. We know tire fall-off is going to be a key thing. What do you know about Las Vegas and how these drivers attack this racetrack, and maybe tire strategy could come into play?
Well, I have to admit I had to lean on my pal Ross about that, because it's a PRN race, and we hadn't gone to Las Vegas in a while, or at least I haven't. And he was sharing with us that there is a lot of fall-off, and that's something you're going to have to manage your tires and manage when you come down pit road, when you come, and whether you take 2 or 4. I'm going to be surprised if guys do take 2 tires, and if they do, if they're going to be able to stay up there. While track position matters so much, when you have a track like Las Vegas, not as bad as Darlington, but when it does fall off, you're going to have drivers wanting those 4 tires. So I think that's going to be something to watch when they come out from a pit stop. What did they do, and how does it help them? It looks like we almost had some contact there, and it looks like the draft's really coming into play, as well as side drafting.
And speaking of contact, too, Fluffy, your new leader, a little bit of contact with the wall for him as well. Managed to hold on to it, really break away. 3 wide, though, there for a second in that second position. Sloppy Joe, though, obtains and maintains that second spot. Voltage, though, creeping up there in that 3rd spot.
Yeah, Voltage is a driver I had my eye on, with back-to-back third-place finishes coming into this playoff opener. So trying to get that machine back to the front as he rides right up on the tail there of Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe holding on to second with Fluffy in the lead, but right now they're fanning back, starting with the Bear in 5th position. And right behind him, Hot Rod, his teammate, didn't have as well as an outing as one of the hottest teams coming into the postseason at SHG. Hot Rod trying to get his team some points here at the front.
Now, Winston, this is something a little bit different than what we are used to on pit road. On pit road, we call what we can see, and usually that's just what's right in front of us on pit road. But we have 4 or 5 separate camera shots in here to be able to call the action. But when we're really contained down to pit road, you have to be in constant communication with the teams, the crew chiefs, to almost predict what's going to happen on pit road, which is difficult.
Yeah, you're always looking ahead. I'm always looking at the race a lot like a crew chief. You're working it backwards from when's the next pit stop going to be. And we were talking to Cliff Daniels when he first got named as crew chief for Jimmy Johnson's car, and somebody asked him, are you ready for this? And he said, you know, one of the things that Chad did for me, Chad Knaus, is he'd ask me, he'd say, okay, caution comes out in 2 laps, what are you going to do? And I've learned on pit road, you got to think like a crew chief to understand how they're going to play the race backwards, when they might come down pit road, and if a caution comes out, what are you going to do to be prepared for that? But I tell you, there's some great racing going on here, and talking about the other monitors that we have the privilege of seeing how these cars are just moving around, darting around, and just how sensitive they are. And these guys really know what they're doing to be able to get that close, bounce off each other, and hold it. You know, when I think about the simulators we have in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, as soon as somebody hits, they're going to spin around. These guys know what they're doing.
And we saw the Bear actually go for a ride through some of that infield grass, managed to hold on to it, rides in that 8th position. And something cool, I don't know if you knew this about the NASCAR Heat or the eNASCAR Heat Pro League drivers, these drivers are actually in communication with crew chiefs over at these teams. The setup is so specific and so detailed, they're actually getting these setups from these crew chiefs. So it's been cool to integrate the crew chiefs behind the minds, or the minds of the drivers, into the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. But Parker there with some pressure from Sloppy Joe and Nick Jobs. Jobs, another driver that's really collected some momentum, some contact, though, as Sloppy Joe sends him to the bottom of the racetrack.
Wow, some battling here toward the front of the field as we ride on board with Jobs out of Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club. Was awfully disappointed last week. His team just missed out on the postseason, but he's hungry for a win as they fan out here down the bottom of the front straightaway below the white line as we come across the line with 40 to go. We're coming close to that competition caution, but right now all eyes are what happened to the Bear. He's back to 6th, and here's maybe the answer why. As he's in the middle of that 3 wide, gets shuffled back to the inside through the grass, and he follows back to the field. Now he's working his way back up nicely as we take one more look at it. Top of your screen, that black and red machine, and there's some more contact with Jobs and Sloppy Joe. So contact all over the place here in the early goings.
And watching these drivers making that contact, everyone's being extremely aggressive. You've got to imagine that Fluffy right now, with the gap that's between him and Parker and Sloppy Joe really battling it out, Fluffy is just executing every lap and trying to keep that distance as much as he possibly can, because he is in the best seat in the house right now, knowing that what's on the line.
circling, just like we saw in the first race when a couple of the guys pulled out and we had some contact back there. It looks like Sloppy Joe got together with Parker, and then and now we've got an accident here on the front straightaway.
Yeah, caution came out for the competition caution, but I don't know if somebody didn't slow down in time or...
It looked like Sloppy Joe maybe was going to pit a little bit early and then either decided he couldn't, didn't want to, or wasn't able to, and zipped through the infield grass there, missing pit road and contact with another couple drivers. Slade
Compool Collective, yeah.
Texting. I'm pretty sure that's illegal in NASCAR, Slade.
Probably asking Mom what's for dinner. Oh, voltage, heavy damage. That was the car through the infield. We mentioned it, back-to-back third-place finishes. He'll have a tough time muscling that car with all that damage. Yeah.
Past his bedtime for Slade. He has school in the morning, bright and early. The youngest driver in the NASCAR, eNASCAR Heat Pro League. He just started his junior year, correct?
Started junior year, but right now we're going back to green because we're already restacking them and sending them out. One pit stop for everybody. Parker taking the lead on pit road. We'll have to get a check-in with Zane on who did what, because I'm really curious how he leapfrogged his way a few positions. Maybe a two-tire call, but right now he's got that 42 Chevrolet to the front of the field, and they're 3 wide behind him.
And Winston, when we get on pit road, you're often positioned on pit out, calling that race off of pit road. How vital is it to get and execute a pit stop? And man, they are just really going crazy at the front of the race here.
Yeah, let's come back to that. With Fluffy going around, looks like Fluffy going around Sloppy Joe. Now they're side by side going through the corner. Tell you what, these guys are really getting at it. 2 by 2 by 2, all the way back through the field. As we like to say, looks like a high-speed pace lap, but looking on the outside, Sloppy Joe is not giving up. Looks like he might get a shot caboose by the 25 car behind him.
That draft and side drafting so critical here as we see them fan out now the front straightaway as the voltage is still trying to get that Toyota away, find its way around Fluffy, but that 8 machine at RCR is having a nice run on the outside with Sloppy Joe. Said he wants to win this race even though he's not in the postseason. Right now he's in prime position as he does the crossover move into turn 3, side by side still.
Carried some great momentum from that high-low maneuver to get up underneath Fluffy, trying to make it work. And when they're running side by side, 2 by 2 like this, they're side drafting each other and they're relying so much on that side draft and that arrow behind the other person. One slip up by any one of these drivers could ultimately ruin a ton of other drivers' nights.
Take a look at the restart here and how all this shook out on the first lap with Fluffy getting below the white line, got a little bit loose up into Parker, and that allowed the 8 of Sloppy Joe to say thank you very much. I'll go right through the middle. So the 8, the beneficiary of some contact here as we calm down a little bit, but not much, because right now Sloppy's now back on the bottom of the racetrack, trying, but he doesn't have any help. And now he's going to get some help from the 95 of the Bear out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Going to try to now make it 3 wide through turn 3. Oh boy.
And it looks like Fluffy got a little bit of help from Jobs. Now they're 3 wide behind Fluffy. That's exactly what Fluffy would like to see, but it looks like the Bear coming up through the inside. They're going to pinch, looks like in the middle of the pack, Sloppy Joe, and now Sloppy Joe battles back. He's got a little bit of help behind him from Hot Rod.
This is incredible stuff. Nick Jobs tweeted at me and said, watch the PlayStation race. We've been practicing all week long on how to run together, and right now they're putting on quite the show as we had some contact there behind this group of cars.
Hey, this more reminds me of what we see at Daytona and Talladega than it does, as now we got 3 wide again coming up through the middle. He was in an accident earlier, Voltage up through the middle, and he almost forces, it looks like the Bear or Sloppy Joe up the track.
Oh my goodness gracious, hang on folks. This is a high-speed roller coaster ride around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We still got 29 laps to go.
Swapping positions left and right, pretty much 3rd through 8th, all involved in this battle. And you could go from 3rd to 8th in a corner with how these guys are driving, riding along here with Sloppy Joe qualified on the pole, currently running in that 6th, 7th position there. He's been excited the whole entire season, caught that late race or late season momentum, really put together some good runs for him, looking for that upset win. A win by RCR could really set things into motion for a lot of these other teams, including JTG. Rowdy in that 10th spot there. not a position he needs to be in right now.
No, and right now those out of the playoff drivers are trying to play spoiler and ruin somebody's chance to continue on in the postseason. But again, 3 wide down the back straightaway. The Bear looking behind him. That's Parker in the middle with Hot Rod on the outside. SHG so far tonight hasn't been the night they've been looking for, coming off back-to-back wins. Right now, that 14 will move solidly into the 3rd position and try to track down the Bear. But, man, they're fighting for it there in the back, and we've got playoff contenders in the back as well.
SHG slick as we ride along with the Bear, but SHG looking to challenge for that 2nd position, takes that bottom groove as they run side by side. Also, peeking back here at Sloppy Joe, has found the back bumper of JRM Keffer, Mr. Consistent there. And riding along with Voltage, that damage no more in that 6th position. Looking to challenge Mike RPM for the 5th spot as they go down below the white line. Like Ross had mentioned in the previous race, these drivers taking advantage of the entire racing surface. The less surface you use, the shorter the time around the racetrack, and these drivers make sure they take up every inch of that racetrack.
All 42 weaving. Got a little bit loose off of turn number 2, but like Hannah mentioned, everybody now back committed to the bottom, but we have seen some outside passes. I think right now we are rapidly approaching the competition caution for the 2nd time. As you remember, 1 car into the wall there in the back of the field. But we are oh so close to the competition caution where we'll see more pit stops and we'll reset it again. But right now, Fluffy just saying, you guys go ahead and battle. I'll continue to pace the field, leading the most laps tonight with 22, working 23.
Sloppy Joe back there in 7th. That's the one I'm going to watch. He was up there in 2nd. He led a little bit. He swapped paint a little bit with Fluffy. While he got bumped back to 8th, he's just trying to work it, get that right momentum. He's the one I'm going to watch. I think he's got a very fast car.
And Fluffy, with a little bit of a slip up there, allowed SHG and the Bear to really contend for that top position there, riding along with JRM. But Fluffy dropping back, handing that lead over to SHG, but we're riding along here with JRM Keffer in that 5th spot, feeling the pressure from Voltage.
Yeah, he's got the American flag. Keffer having served our armed forces in the Army, so we thank him for his service, especially on this September 11th anniversary, and he's rocking the American flag in Operation Iraqi Freedom. So meanwhile, back on the racetrack, caution is out for our 2nd competition caution of the evening, as a good battle was shaping up there with the Bear and that 44 for Petty Esports. So we're going to restack them here, as everybody will most likely dip down pit road and do it all over again. There's again a look at Keffer. He told me this week that he's got a really fast car and he loves NASCAR Heat 4 and how it drives to his driving style. Career best 4th there at Michigan. I don't know, he may be talking to some family. I know we've seen his daughter in some of his onboard shots. So
and his dog. That's what I'm looking for.
I know, yeah. Dog whisperer over here.
As we get ready to go green again after that competition caution, take a look once again here at your top 5. Mike RPM, right before that competition caution, allowed to slip up into that 2nd spot. Great run for him. He's really needed some confidence going into this season. Not contending for a championship, that team, but the Bear also wastes no time and tucks up on the back bumper of SHG Hot Rod. But there's your man, Winston Kelly. He was bobbing and weaving to try and get back up to the front, and Sloppy Joe in that 6th spot.
Yeah, he's moved up a couple of spots. He's looking down to the inside. It looks like trying to make the move. Doesn't quite have the momentum, but back up front, SHG Hot Rod and the Bear, they're going nose to tail. I tell you what, they just continue to do some significant blocking, going down on that apron. This is some great racing.
So here's how the lead swapped right before the caution. The 17 of Fluffy getting a little loose, goes up the racetrack, and boy, that momentum of the 14 for Hot Rod was able to just slingshot past him with some help from the 95 of the Bear. So that was your lead change prior to the caution. And Winston, I would have to think everybody who pitted there had to have taken 4 tires at this point.
Absolutely. There's no reason not to. I think track position, you might get it, but you're going to fall back. And, I think one of the things that you pointed out is you need some help if you're going to go on the low line, just like in the first race. The high line, if you're by yourself, if there were just 2 cars up there, but SHG Hot Rod got a little bit of help behind him. He was able to make the pass. So how they can work together, and if they work together when we get to the last few laps, that's going to be very interesting.
And SHG Hot Rod, that team in total really just shown a ton of speed as of recently winning at Daytona. And we saw just a moment ago, almost 150 laps led, almost more than double of any other driver in the PlayStation field. But look at that there. Voltage with a risky move there. Tried to get down and get underneath the bear. It did not stick for him, though. Manages to save it, tuck back in behind Sloppy Joe. Making moves, Sloppy Joe is up to that 3rd spot. Looks like he's got a great race car underneath him. Obviously made some good calls on that last pit stop. But the bear tucks underneath, challenges for the top position as those two swap the lead. Loses some momentum. Ooh, in contact there with Voltage and the bear.
I mean, I know rubbin's racing is a term, but I don't think you should be doing that here at Las Vegas.
That wasn't rubbing, that was bouncing. They were bouncing off of each other. And Sloppy Joe restarted 7th, I believe, when this caution flag or green flag went back out. He's worked his way back up into 2nd. He struggled to get around Fluffy. I believe he's going to be able to get around SHG Hot Rod. Be very interesting to see if Voltage goes with him or makes it 3 wide.
Back to single file for your top 5 for now, as right now the 8 of Sloppy Joe goes right back to the bottom. 14, you kind of running that middle lane, trying to see if something's there, but right now, side by side down the back straightaway for the lead. It looks like the 14 will still keep the momentum, as right now the 8 drops a few positions.
Looks like he lost the draft, and there comes Fluffy. Fluffy, the dominant car earlier on in the race. He's back up to 3rd. Looks like we got a problem. Maybe a left front going down on Sloppy Joe's car.
Look like a couple other drivers maybe tucked down with him as well. So Sloppy Joe is coming down pit road. Was a scheduled pit stop. That does not loosen things up at the front of the field, though, as SHG has that lead. Voltage wants it, though, and is getting a little bit of a push there from Fluffy to make it happen. And that's ultimately everything you could need to make that pass. You need to have that draft, that push from the driver behind you. So Fluffy giving a little bit of assistance to Voltage here to challenge for that front running position.
Well, we'll see what happens to Sloppy Joe, because it was a scheduled stop, but it was awfully early. So short pitting there, Winston, that could probably play key if this thing goes green.
I can't tell you how many times we've seen guys short pit when they weren't leading and come back out, and that extra lap or two that they have the fresher tires, they get out ahead of them, and while somebody has the fresher tires later, they can't get back to them. So I can't wait to see how this cycles around and see as Fluffy's battling side by side with SHG Hot Rod.
Fluffy regaining that front running position. He's led a total of 23 laps so far this evening, double than anyone else so far this race. But a couple other drivers pitting as well. Mike RPM, Rowdy, Parker, and also Keffer down pit road for an early pit stop. But before these front runners go down pit road as well, take a look at some of the drivers involved in that bubble position. Kyle Arnold in 6th with these drivers pitting. Prior to that, he was about 11th or 12th in there, and you also factor in Rowdy, who pitted in the 11th spot now, was at that back of the pack. These drivers have really got to get something in gear with 11 laps to go, and maybe this short pit could be something that salvages them a good run. But if someone else maybe gets that better pit strategy, it could be the end for a couple of these drivers.
Fluffy hard into the outside wall in the back straightaway, will lose a number of positions. Not sure what happened there, but we were on board when he made hard contact with the outside wall going down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing if we can see the replay on that, but it looked like they bounced off of each other, and then he bounced up the wall.
And Fluffy, as he went to go down pit road there, I believe I saw, bobbed and weave, almost didn't make it down pit road as well, almost making contact. Not a streak of good luck, but take a look here. There's that replay. In the front running position here, you see SHG try and get down below him. And there's that contact.
He just got up into the wall by himself. Yeah,
maybe some marbles on that racetrack.
No contact at all.
So we'll keep an eye on Fluffy. There was
a contact. It looks like SHG Hot Rod did kind of come up, pinch him a little bit, trying to get out of the gas. Fluffy went into the wall.
And look who's in the lead. Nick Jobs, Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club, out of the postseason, but he didn't care. He's trying to get a win today. And right now he's got that number 25 Chevrolet to a nice-sized lead as we begin to finish cycling through pit stops. DK Brown, our rookie, we call him a rookie, in his 2nd race for Go Fast Gaming, trying to get as many points as he can, because that's a team that's only 1 point ahead of Germain Gaming for a bubble spot.
could come down to a handful of points for a lot of these teams here as he continues to lead. And a lot of these teams have gone down pit road. Slade in that second position. You have to wonder, where is he tonight? Not a good qualifying effort for that youngster. Hasn't really even been running in the top 10. And he's been someone that's been a contender to win every single weekend. I wonder if he's just got too much homework on his plate.
Yeah, I'm sure that something else is going on, because this is very uncharacteristic for that Wood Brothers Gaming team, especially for Slade, who's been so consistent. But he finds himself in second, still needing that third pit stop, but 7 laps to go. Part of me almost thought he was trying to save some fuel during the earlier part of this run.
7 top 10s for that youngster, including 6 top 5s, and we haven't even really seen him in the top 10 most of this race, so we'll have to check in with him at some point to see maybe what's going on there as we ride along with Jobs, who was your leader. Ducks down pit road. Again, looks like it was a little wobbly entry there. Slade also following him down pit road, so that will recycle everyone with those 2 pitting and hand that lead over to Sloppy Joe. There's
short pitting.
Yes.
Short pitting. Tip of the cap to the crew chief. And the call to bring him down pit road early. Seen that so many times where it cycled somebody around, stays green the rest of the way. He's in great position.
Coming to 5 laps to go, riding on board with what will be your leader when they cycle through, but maybe not for long, because here comes Hot Rod. Now the Bear, 3 wide for the lead down the front straightaway.
Wow, what a move there. SHG and also the Bear really making an effort there, and they managed to get by him in a 3-wide maneuver. That will shuffle him back to the 3rd spot there. But man, they just had so much momentum through that corner to able to split him and tuck back down. Great move there by him to regain the lead.
What a run as they come across the lap car of Nick Jobs. Oh, we've got some contact. The 14 gets shoved onto pit road. Hot Rod, so contact with him and Nick Jobs. It was out of pit road. He gets back on the racetrack. Hannah, you can look. It's all right. She's got her hands over her eyes.
Last time I saw a car go down pit road at full speed was Tyler Ankrum in the truck race at Texas, and it was not intentional.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was able to hold on to that and get back up on the racing surface there, quite incredible, and slides right back in there to the 3rd position to contend there. But then contact with the wall and Jobs again, back through the infield. They may just hire him for lawn maintenance after this race.
Yeah, it's going to be a hefty bill to get that infield nice and trimmed up. But right now, it's still Jobs and Hot Rod going at it. And here comes Pennzoil. We haven't talked much about him, but Penske Esports is leading the playoffs so far. And he's running now inside the top 5 in the 5th place position, coming to 3 laps to go. But the Bear has a 7/10 of a second lead on Sloppy Joe, who's going to try to run him down.
While it may not be the win, Sloppy Joe, I feel like with a 2nd position finish, would be ecstatic about it. It's something that he's really been building on with that pole qualifying position. Nick Jobs there, we're riding along with him for a moment in 6th, also carrying some speed, but Sloppy Joe all over the back bumper of Voltage. Hey dude, I'm here, and that little push carries some momentum into the corner.
Yeah, Voltage got around Sloppy Joe, who was in 2nd, so these two battling, but right now, stretching his lead just a little bit is the Bear. Tuscaloosa, Alabama's own, 2 laps to go for Levine Family Gaming.
And those second 2 cars, Voltage and Sloppy Joe, if they can work together, even though it's just 2 to go now, a lap and a half to go, they can run him down. But the Bear has run such a smooth race, and while they got to racing along with SHG Hot Rod, he's just driven off. But can they work together on this last lap and a half and be able to reel him in?
White flag is out, 1 lap to go for the Bear here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, trying to get a playoff race win for Levine Family Gaming. Your bubble drivers, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So not where they need to be for points-wise. It'll be awfully close coming into this race. Jermaine and Go Fast separated by 1 point. Track Bar got a win for JTG Doherty Throttlers, who were in 10th in that final playoff position. So this will be close, Hannah, as checkered flag is out. And the 95 of the Bear gets the victory here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Playoff round number 1 for the PlayStation drivers.
Similar to what we saw in that Xbox race, a perfectly executed race by the Bear. Was there in contention the entire race and able to put that position, get himself out front, and have that cushion in those final laps.
Winston Kelly still happy about that short pit call by Sloppy Joe for the 3rd place position?
I think he came back out right where he ended up. So he didn't lose anything. And since he had been consistently running 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and when he did make that short pit call, he had restarted 7th before that, got up to 3rd. So what you're trying to do is do better than what you were before. So he didn't do any worse. So I don't think it was a bad call at all.
Awesome run for him, as well as Voltage with Gibbs Gaming in that 2nd spot. Strong runs for a lot of the drivers, and the Bear collecting that win for PlayStation, his 2nd win of the season, carrying some good momentum into the next round of playoffs. But Pennzoil rounding out the top 5. Storehouse Gaming with Hot Rod, after contending the entire evening, a couple accidents, still comes home 4th.
Yeah, solid run for what they experienced on the racetrack. And then how about a couple drivers not in the postseason with some good finishes? Parker and as well as Nick Jobs as well. But boy, then Slade, been awfully quiet for Wood Brothers Gaming. They are inside the bubble. Looks like they may be safe, but here's your bubble drivers with Rowdy, DK Brown with Go Fast, and Fluffy is in. But boy, a lot was going on there, Zane, as we go back down to our digital media lounge. And boy, pretty intense stuff here for playoff round number 1, bud.
It's insane right now. Discord is going rowdy. Smoke fan, or sorry, not Smoke fan, the smoke is flying, should I say. Slick and Hot Rod are ready to go after Sloppy Joe of RCR. JRM Keffer for Junior Motorsports is ready to go after Mike, as he feels he took him out of the chance for a playoff run here. So I say Vegas put on a show, but there's probably going to be a few helmets and a few fire suits caught on fire by the end of the night.
Man, we heard it in Daytona going into this, and now a lot of tension in between a lot of these drivers, both in PlayStation and Xbox, because it's only one race. You can't mess up here, and a couple drivers messed up a couple of their playoff drivers' runs, and we've seen that tension play out on pit road before. Virtual pit road, there are being helmets thrown right now.
Absolutely. There are going to be some conversations. If they're going to be calm, they're just going to be each other's face. If they're not going to be calm, it might be a little bit more than that, and I've seen the spectrum of it over the past 30-plus years, and it's always great to see the intensity, the competitive fire come out in these guys. And I tell you what, that was exciting. I'm like Ross. I'll come back.
I was going to say, that was my next question, because this is your first time doing this. What is your overall takeaway from today? I mean, this is, you have a long resume, but this is adding another talent to your list.
Well, I'm not sure about talent, but, you know, having been in our simulators and watched amateurs race the simulators, and having Terry Labonte helped us set them up. So we knew that they were set up pretty well. His company built the simulators, built the hardware for the simulators, and it's not that easy to race in e-racing. And seeing the type of racing that these guys do and how they're able to maintain the cars when they do get together, how they're able to work together or not, so many similarities that we see on the racetrack week in and week out, and I think it's very exciting. I can see why it's so popular now.
Do you get some time in the sim?
Not a lot. I've got too many meetings, but after today, I'm going to schedule some time in the Sims.
Okay, so we asked Ross about his gamer tag. What would yours be?
Oh, man, what would that be?
Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, that movie, so Sundance would be fine with me.
I like that.
There you go.
Look out for Sundance.
We'll have to start our own little league here, our own little race. We all know that you and I are terrible. We've tried. You're getting better.
We had one race. I've had some races at home under my belt.
Daytona.
Let's go ahead and throw that back out there. Like, what was that, 5 months ago? well, you're on. You're on next up.
But that being said, the Bear, your winner in the PlayStation race. Congratulations to him. Levine Family Gaming with another win, his 2nd win of the season. We're going to get him here on the line to talk about that win. The Bear, you had a great run tonight. Put yourself in the perfect scenario to collect the win. What's the excitement and the confidence you're going to carry into the next playoff race knowing that you had such a good run?
Well, I tell you, I feel almost nostalgic getting the first ever win on Heat 4 and the first race of the playoffs. We couldn't be more thrilled, and, well, what a dogfight at the end. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Oh, we absolutely did. 3-4 wide racing. We had Winston Kelly on his feet. We've all been standing this whole time. But, I mean, it's been incredible to see you guys battle and jockey for position. What was the key to keep your car out front once you got to clean air and avoid that kind of chaos behind you?
Well, honestly, just maintaining the tires on this new game, this new package we got. Tires mean everything, and if you ain't got nothing at the end to play with, then you can't go for it. So when I come out of pit road there, I just kind of maintained behind the 14 and just kind of let him pull me up to the 8. When we got to the 8, it was game on.
Well, congratulations once again, the Bear, on your win tonight.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Levine Family Gaming collecting that race win. Again, event wins out the window. It's all points. Let's take a look at these unofficial standings here. Team Penske still on top there with 1,638, that 1,000-point separating playoff drivers from non-playoff. But take a look a little bit farther down the board.
Yes, top 8 move on. So there you go. Go Fast Gaming loses out by 1 point, folks. 1 point. And JTG Doherty Throttlers also eliminated from playoff contention. So Germain Gaming survives again. They had to survive Daytona to get in the postseason. And right now, they're moving on to next week. How about that?
Heartbreak there for JTG getting that race win, but not moving on. And that race winner, NASCAR Racing Experience, we talked about it earlier on. Hot HD Weller, you get to get behind the wheel of the NASCAR Racing Experience. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you drive a little bit better than old Chris here would if he got behind the wheel. There's a reason we still haven't let him drive one.
Oh boy, the shots just keep coming. Well, anyways, we're 2 weeks. If you liked what you saw here tonight, Kansas Speedway, September 25th, 7:30, right here on Twitch and Facebook. You can check out round number 2 of the postseason. 2 more teams get eliminated, and after today, boy, it's anyone's game. Moving on to the rest of the race to the championship in October at ISM Raceway in Phoenix. Winston Kelly, final thoughts.
Well, you go back and you look at Go Fast Racing, misses it by 1 point. People talk about why do they race for 8th and 7th position, 7th and 6th position. That's why it matters. Great racing. Look forward to doing it again.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, and thank you to Ross Chastain as well for joining us. We look forward to doing it again in just over a week as we go racing at Kansas for another round of playoffs here in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. Congratulations to both the winners, and we look forward to doing it again at Kansas for another round of the playoffs.